Hello and welcome to another Mobile Food Pantry haul. In the description box below there is a video that kind of goes over what a mobile food pantry is, how it works for us, all the Q&A that I was getting. I put in that video. It's in the description box. I'm not sure what else to really show you because obviously it's here. I do have one box of blueberries that somebody brought over yesterday, and by box I mean like a flat with several packages in it. And so those will be I'm going to make some like banana blueberry bread. I want to make a batch of blueberry jam because of all the jams that we do not really eat, blueberry is one that we do. So I am pretty much out. So I want to do that. And then here is what we got today and how I'm planning on using it this week. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I have 2 cauliflowers. These are going to work really well to make cauliflower pizza. I have corn, and this is just going to be another meal. We have corn coming out the ears because it is, pun intended, it is that time of year. We have some of these snack packs. It says carrot, celery, cheddar cheese, crackers with a taste of the South, fried pickle and ranch dip. So these will, there's 3 of them. These will probably work well for my youngest 3. And then I have 3 bags of this organic tender French beans. They do need to be gone through as soon as possible, so that will be my project for today. And these will work well as side dishes as well as that. So in terms of a menu, I'm obviously going to be working a lot with what I have this week. Well, it's a different view from what how I normally share my hauls, but needed a little bit of space and whatever. So here we go. I have 2, 4, 6, 7 chocolate milks. I have 4 bags of corn. I have 3 watermelons, 3 cabbages, and 2, 4, 6 of these cantaloupes, or I think they call them sweet melons here. So that's what came on today's mobile food pantry, and I'll share with you how we're going to use that this week. Alright, here is what we're going to be eating this week for meals using cabbage and what we received from the mobile food pantry. So I have my whiteboard. I will try to give you a better, I have my whiteboard. I will try to give you a better look at what we got today because with Wednesdays, my piano teacher is here first thing in the mornings, and so I couldn't really bring it all in and film with that going on. I like to try to keep privacy, and well, I'll be honest, I'm not really good at filming in front of people outside my family. So we have cantaloupes, bags of corn, watermelon, chocolate milks, and a whole bunch of cabbages. So one of the cabbages has already made our lunch for today, which was egg roll in a bowl. I have the recipe on my Facebook page. In the description box below, you can join my Facebook page. It's a suggested $5 monthly donation, but all of the printables are on there. Thankfully, oh, I'm so blue. Thankfully, it is a dish that my family really enjoys. So we're looking at dinner tonight is going to be fried fish again. I still have some from previous food pantries. Fish is not something I do a lot of. Actually, we just had fried fish. And I don't know if everybody's going to feel up to that. My daughter in the background. Nope. we're gonna figure out dinner. Oh, I know what dinner is going to be. Okay, so I tried to make the zucchini lasagna. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that. It did exactly what I was afraid it was going to do, even though I like soaked the zucchini slices so that all the extra drippings would come off and all that. It made it very, very watery, and I was like, this is better, would be better as like a zucchini lasagna soup type things. And so I have almost a full pan of that still, and I'm going to turn that into lasagna soup. So what I'll do is I'll take half a head of cabbage, because I have a ton of cabbage. I'll take half a head of cabbage and I'll kind of cook it in there to help soak up some of that extra moisture. And we're just going to have like it's going to be a twist on basically cabbage soup. So that will be dinner. Tomorrow is Thursdays, and if I'm focusing on like breakfast, lunch, and dinner, a lot of our breakfasts this week's are going to be smoothies. This week for you guys, I have 2 Mobile Food Pantry hauls, and that's because I did not get last week's video put up. So I still have the blueberries, so we're gonna have like blueberry smoothies. We're gonna have blueberry muffins and pancakes for sure, along with I have some eggs, so we can do like egg bake or scrambled eggs. All right, so those are just some basic breakfast things. Lunch we can have leftovers. So Sunday I usually do leftovers. When we come home from church, we just pull all the leftovers out of the fridge, place it all out. It's the smorgasbord. The goal is to eat up leftovers. If I have a ton of leftovers, sometimes I do it twice in 1 week. I don't think I have a ton of leftovers this week outside that lasagna, which I'm going to make for dinner tonight. I don't think I have much of anything else left. So we'll put that on here for once. What else do I have? I have stuff for salmon patties. Probably our other fish meal this week. How about the jambalaya, Emma? Then you can take some for work. So jambalaya, let's talk about this. In a Aldi haul that I recently did, you can check that out down below. I'll try to remember to link it. If not, it's within the last few videos I have made. I purchased 3 or 4 of these, and I like to have them on hand. And then I realized somebody did not put the other ones I purchased back where I normally put these, so I actually have a lot right now. So I'll have the ones that I keep for the emergency meal that, oh my goodness, I forgot. But we'll also make it for a meal this week, because I also have a bunch of frozen bratwurst in the freezer, and so we can use that in the jambalaya. I can also barbecue some one night. So for dinner, we'll have barbecue brats and chicken thighs, because I have a bag of chicken thighs that's not really enough to make a meal for our family. Normally I would like put it with something else. So we're gonna do it that night. It was a video that never got put up. I filmed it, and with the schedule and then with my laptop being out of commission, if you're a frequent visitor, there was one time on the Flash Food app, I was up in the big city. Big city is Fort Wayne.
Tell me when you're done.
Yes. Okay. I was up in the big city, and the Flash Food app had these brats for $1 a piece, and I bought 16 because 16 for meat, threw it in my freezer at $1 a piece, absolutely positively. So I do have a ton of those in my freezer. That's pretty much like the main meat that I have left, with the exception of a couple whole chickens. So the whole chickens are a local food pantry. So I do the mobile food pantry. The local food pantry is usually at a time that I can't make it with our schedule, unfortunately. But I do have a friend, her and her husband go, and they do it, and then they get what they need for themselves, they get what their children or grandchildren need, and then whatever's left they give me. Nobody really usually wants the whole chicken, and that's actually one reason why I stopped going to that mobile food pantry, or trying to make the effort to go to that mobile food pantry, is because outside of the fresh meat, most of it is canned vegetables. That obviously I have a lot of fresh vegetables here, and I can utilize this to last us a while with freezing, with canning, and whatever. And so a lot of the canned fruits and vegetables work well for people that don't have that ability that I have in order to preserve it for us in that way. I hope that makes sense. So since the main purpose that would be most helpful and most useful for us to go to this food pantry would be the fresh meat, it brings me what they get. So I'm always going to be supplied with whole chickens. But outside of the whole chicken, that one bag of chicken thighs and the barbecue brats, I don't have a whole lot of meat, and I'm just trying to stretch what I find a little bit here and there to go a little bit further. I have 1 or 2 more bags of fish. I think it's cod or tilapia, one of those that, again, that particular mobile food pantry gave. So outside of the whole chicken and the fish, and we could definitely rotate that back and forth, I'm really just trying to figure out the best way to utilize meals for us and work with what we have. So obviously we have a lot of corn right now. I can do something like a corn chowder. I can check the weather app. I know sometimes it's just too hot for corn chowder, and honestly the last one I made wasn't that great, so I need to find a better recipe. If you have a favorite corn chowder recipe, please leave it down below. I would love to see it. So for lunches right now I have leftovers, salmon patties, jambalaya, bratwurst, corn chowder, so that gives me 5. I know in the back freezer I have some I still have a couple of those 2-pound bags of broccoli that I've done in a previous mobile food pantry haul. Don't forget to check the playlist that I leave linked at the end of each video when I make these, and I believe it's also in the playlist down below. So I have the stuff to make, again, if it's cooler this week, broccoli cheddar soup, which the kids enjoy. And so that gives me 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I could probably, and I'll just leave kind of one open because with leftovers or with things that just come up, it'll be just fine. All right, so for dinner we have the barbecue brats and the chicken thighs to barbecue. That will be one meal. And actually might be a really good meal for tonight. No, we're doing that one thing tonight. I have a whole chicken. I can do the fish. What do I call it? Fish and chips? I'll do fish and chips. I do have some potatoes that I can make fish and chips. There's 3 meals there. Again, we have the brats. We had all this cabbage. So last week you saw some cabbage. We chopped that up and we made sauerkraut with it. So right now I have 4 quarts of sauerkraut. And depending on how many, oh my goodness, it needs to be just a little bit cooler. It needs to be fall weather. I have so many dinner ideas. So there's the potato and sauerkraut soup. And I can use brats for the meat on that. Okay, so that gives me four dinners. Dinners I do like to have it all planned out, even if we have to kind of squiggle things. You know what, we're going to do a breakfast for dinner one day. And that usually means like pancakes and bacon. I do know I have bacon. The neighbor down the street gave us some in exchange for helping him do some yard work, so I know I have some bacon. So we can do like bacon and pancakes and eggs, which is pretty simple and fun. So that gives me 5, and here's how my method goes. Now I'm going to just kind of look at, okay, here's my pantry. What do I have? I bet. Oh, I do have, speaking of cabbage, when I made the egg roll in a bowl, I portioned out the sausage into 2 meals. And so I have a sausage portion, and what we can do is we can make another soup with it. We can make cabbage. I only need 6. We'll do maybe the cabbage soup when my sisters come over. Anyway, we only need 6 dinners because one evening we will be at a party. So we do not need, let me put that in. All right, here we go. That's how I do it. This is kind of what I have here. So obviously we have for snacks, we have watermelon, we have cantaloupe, not a problem. Corn, we can have corn with our barbecue. We can have corn with the fish and chips. We can have corn with the chicken. We can even have it with like salmon patties. So corn is a great side. Chocolate milk. Honestly, with the chocolate milk, one of the things that is really fun to do is to pour them in ice cube trays, freeze them, and then you kind of use it as with some yogurt, and it kind of makes like a cheap, fun ice cream treat. So that might be what I do with some of this. I also have, I've offered it to some friends that might want some because I do have a lot. And then the rest of the cabbage. So for cabbage meals, what I have right now is 2 meals basically that is going to use cabbage. We have the cabbage soup, and then we have, oh, I guess we just have one. We just have cabbage soup with the one, and then
The potato soup uses sauerkraut, which is fermented cabbage. So, alright, so that's going to be it for today's video. Thank you for going with me and kind of just seeing how I break things down and like, okay, what do we have, what can we use, thinking ahead, how do we make this work, like with the cabbage soup, even though like it has the leftover sausage I'm going to use and the cabbage I'm going to use, it also uses things like tomatoes. I have a bunch of cherry tomatoes from the garden, and so that will be one way to make sure that those get used up and not go to waste. So that's kind of how my process is about all of this and how I just make it all work. If there's any questions that would be helpful to you in this whole method, please leave them down in the comments below and I will address them in a future video. And I'll talk to you next time.